Today, we are going to talk about how we can utilize voice AI within OPM tools on a more advanced level so that it can replace your inbound receptionists or your inbound call handlers so that it can function better or it can provide more accurate results. Let me give you a formal introduction about Nomads and Shazer. Nomads is a digital marketing agency as well, and its services are pretty much the same as OverPower Marketing. It provides lead generation, website development, social media, and email marketing, and so forth. And they are also working on the different tools which are present in the CRM space in the world, such as the voice AI. And that is the reason why we have Shazar today with us, who represents Nomads. And Shazar himself has been working on the voice AI tremendously. And with his expertise and his understanding of the deep function of voice AI, he was able to grasp what exactly is it that you can set up in a prompt that can, basically not exactly replace a human person, but it can match that human person's capabilities to the highest level. And that is the reason why I reached out to Shah, and we had this collaborative effort in order to provide more useful information to the clients of OPM tools or Overpower Marketing clients so that we can show them what voice AI is actually capable of. So, with that said, I shall give the spotlight to Shah in order to take this forward.
Hi everyone, how are you guys? So moving forward, Mustafa will be presenting the presentation section, and Cohen will be giving the demo version. That's it. So let's move forward with the presentation. So I need to introduce myself as well. You missed out one section of our business, that is graphic designing and video editing. That's all. That's all I wanted to add in this. And pretty much, our motto is simple. I just want to add one more thing, our motto, and that is pay for results, not expectations. So moving forward with the presentation and the introduction overview of voice AI setup and uses. So it's kind of basic, this workshop will provide a comprehensive guide on voice AI, including its setup, use cases, best prices, best practices, and optimization strategies. You can learn how to leverage voice AI for better efficiency, user engagement, and business automation. So that's all. That's a very brief introduction, and we will be moving forward to the benefits. So benefits, that means enhance efficiency and user experiences with voice AI. So how a user going to get efficiency out of it? They're going to automate inbound call handling. They're going to reduce manual workload, improve response time and customer satisfaction. They're going to enhance engagement with natural voice responses, and yes, streamlines customer interactions. All right, then we're going to be moving towards the implementation setup. So over here, I would ask Cohen to bring up his screen so we can first of all show a little bit demo of how this voice AI is going to get set up in the OPM tool. I have actually set it up for just a test drive with Mustafa beforehand, and basically it's quite simple. Where in the beginning we have to add the agent name, agent details, basically agent name, business name, what language do you prefer with your business, what voice. So on the voice section, if you go and click, there are multiple voices. So you can change the voice tone according, or the accent of the voice AI agent according to your requirement or need or your region. We have a UK region. Yeah, sure, Mustafa, please.
All right. So I have a question. When it comes to the different voices, is there any criteria or any effect on which voice to be chosen and which voice should be opted out with? Or is it just whatever goes with the flow? Like, how does one person decides which voice should be chosen, since there's a list of multiple voices, and then again the male voices and the female voices as well?
Yeah, what I personally believe, it basically depends upon the region that you're working in. So if you're working in, let's say, the US region, so you should take in charge for the US voices. The accent matters. So if you're working in the UK region, there are voices for the UK region as well over here. The accent, again, I would say matters. And you can go through that, through down the list and, hear it out. If you're like working, your workload is mostly, Spanish people, you can go, select a voice that is more accent friendly with those. I don't think that it matters on the gender basis. It's not that much of a difference. Male or female, anything can work if your prompt is really good. So you can choose among multiple voices that you have right now, and I believe that they will be adding more voices in the future. All right, so you can choose, let's say, Calvin, that was already set up over here. It was a really good voice. It's a deep voice what I selected over here. It's a deep voice with a little bit authoritative review. So right now, currently, it's only for inbound calls, but I think I've heard that they are going to set up for outbound calls when it's going to be, compliant with US laws and regulations. Moving forward, you can select your time zone.
Before you move forward, there's something called language English beta. Like, what's that about?
The language English beta, you can actually change your language of this voice AI agent into multiple language. For example, you can go for German, French, whatever language that but they don't have all of the languages. So you have limitations, right?
So will the voice AI hearing the language and then translating it in English, or will it be conversing in that specific language?
No, it will be conversing in that specific language.
Nice.
So if you're giving a prompt, let's say, for example, you're giving a prompt in English, so it's going to, automatically translate it into the particular language that you have chosen for your voice AI agent.
Okay. Cohen, do you have voice sharing on this tab? If you do, can you please play the voice of Calvin?
Let's see.
So is there a functionality that during a conversation with a voice AI bot, the voice AI will be, if it's set to English, it will be able to understand if the other person is speaking in a different language, for example, Spanish, since we know that the Hispanic community is really wide in the US. So if someone is speaking in English and then they swiftly transfer over to Spanish, will the voice AI be able to pick that up?
Currently, if you add it in the prompt, there are, let's say, for example, if you add questions, FAQs in the prompt, where you add them as well in English, as well in Spanish. So yes, it can be possible, but you have to play around with your prompt. But automatic detection without any prior instructions, it's not possible. You have to do it.
All right, so we can't even have it so that the spoken language of the voice AI can change from English to Spanish or Dutch.
No, not automatically. Not automatically. You have to add it in the prompt, in the advanced settings section, in the prompt, that you have to tell them if there is a, let's say, Spanish answer, so you can switch to Spanish answer.
So something like this,
you don't need to switch to Spanish answer. The voice AI agent can reply in English but understand the question.
Okay, so we can also do this. I mean, I'm sure that you'll be bringing up in the later part of this presentation that you can set it up as, let's say, an IVR, in which it says press 1 for English, press 2 for Spanish, press 3 for Dutch, and based on whichever number they select, we can have a different AI agent for each of those numbers, and then that particular language AI agent takes over.
I have a question that arises. I raised this question before as well. The problem over here arises that how many agents are you going to make? Because every agent will require a separate or an individual number. So if you're planning to make more than one agent, that means you're planning, to make more than one numbers associated with that agent. Let's say, for example, the IVR system does pumps into this. So it's going to send that call to that specific agent. Yes, it can, but it will be a separate number. So either you don't promote your number, voice AI agent number, and you just promote your IVR number, or you individually send this specific number as your promotions.
That's fair enough. Yes, so Cohen, you were playing the voice of Calvin.
Yes. So by clicking the play button, you can get a preview of what the voice will sound like.
A man who doesn't trust himself can never really trust anyone else.
Okay. So pretty
Go for
standard.
other voice as well. You can try other voices as well.
Yes. So we can try Anna.
The eye sees only what the mind is prepared to comprehend.
I feel like that is a little more robotic in my opinion.
Mhm.
But yeah, as we can see, we have a wide variety of voices that we are able to use. Some varying in the UK region as well. Like Sean was saying, different accents might help for different clientele.
So
Exactly.
if we select, all right, just for this example, if we select the language to Spanish, for example, I was already on that one, Oren. Yeah, Spanish. And now the voices, the available voices have changed.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So if you change out to, let's say, Michelle or Santiago, what does it sound like?
Hola, mi nombre es Michelle. ¿En qué puedo ayudarte hoy? Estoy increíblemente entusiasmada de ayudarte.
Okay, then I would love it that if they have Dora the Explorer voice as well. I mean, that would be like,
Maybe in the future, you never know. You never know.
probably.
Mhm.
All right. So now there's this agent initial message.
Before you move on ahead, isn't it, wouldn't it be better if you just choose the language English and the voice Calvin?
Yeah, it's gonna be better. It's gonna be better.
No, it's Calvin, Calvin.
A man who doesn't trust himself can never really trust anyone else.
Now this voice is a little bit authoritative, that's why I personally selected this. Fair enough. Moving towards the agent initial message. Now over here, I've played around it with a little bit. You can also do it. You can make it according to your model. That is a little bit, friendly to the ears. So if you have reached OPM Tools, here our motto is whatever your motto is. Let's say, for example, OPM Tools. Do you have any motto for you guys?
Lauren, do you have any motto for OPM Tools?
I think he has a quote in his email. That would be the motto, but I don't remember what the quote is.
Fair enough. Let's say your motto is we thrive for customer growth.
Okay.
Our motto is we thrive for customer growth. And then it's going to be a little bit, how can I help you today? So that's where your initial message is going to start, or that's what your greetings are going to sound like when the call is, picked up from your voice agent.
If we add a custom field in this, like for example, the customer first name.
No, you can't add custom fields in this.
Seriously?
You can't add a custom field in agent's initial message, but you can do it with the prompt.
Okay. So if I wanted to be like, hi Shah, you have reached OPM Tools.
No, you can't do that.
Okay.
That's a limitation, but I've heard that they are fixing that. They're updating that. You can do it in the future, most probably. So that's how your initial criteria is going to be set up. Your agent name, your business name. You can change the business name as well, Cohen.
Yep, and Oren just said the perfect thing. If you chose Spanish, make sure that the initial message is in Spanish. Would it be able to auto-translate it?
It is gonna auto-translate. Yeah.
No, it's not. He says.
No, I've tested it before. That when you change your language, so it's gonna translate it as well.
Well,
So if you're putting it in English.
Well, we have set it up for some of our clients in Spanish. Oren did that. So if that is a new update, then yeah, awesome, because he had to do it manually.
Fair enough. You can change the business name, Cohen, on the field, agent name Shah, and the business name, you can put it up OPM Tools over there.
Okay.
So what is under the advanced setting if you click on that?
The advanced setting of agent details is, you can go there and check. Go over there. Let's go to the advanced, the advanced setting of agent details.
Yes.
Yeah. Now this is call time duration. If you want to add this, you can go up till 15 minutes if I'm not wrong. Yes, you can go up to max 15 minutes. Go up to 15 minutes, that's 15 minutes. Let's go to the max limit.
So by max limit, we are saying, so if you're saying max limit, so if someone's call is going beyond 15 minutes, it will automatically be dropped?
Yes, that's a problem. Yeah,
Oh.
that's a problem with the voice AI. If the call reaches its 15 minutes time, after 15 minutes, there is no response. There is no, ending message. It's just a cold hang up. So beforehand, it was 5 minutes, but now they have added few more time and 15 minutes. I believe a normal call should, go to 10 minutes. That's how. After 10 minutes, I think anything above 10 minutes should be, checked manually to why it is going 10 minutes, that why it's going more than 10 minutes.
Yeah, and
What
I
are
think
the queries?
with that limitation, a business owner can decide not to put voice AI in those places where the conversation of the call is going to be more than 15 minutes long. So, for
Yeah.
example, filling out a questionnaire or asking their deep business methods and their entire, ideation of the business and their customer fields. So, all of that should be put aside. And
I
only the basic stuff should be asked, like the phone number, email, and the crucial fields of the business, for example.
My personal opinion also is this, that you use voice AI as a tool, not as an agent. Because if you're using it as a tool, you're just collecting data information, and your live agent is going to be handling all of the queries manually. And you're also in voice agent, you're also taking down the query as well. So use it as a tool, not as an agent for the time being, until and unless it gets to the outbound call section. Because when it's going to get the outbound call section, is going to be refined completely. I think that is the time when they're going to give, unlimited access to, time.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, the next thing is response speed. So now you can adjust your, go in, advanced setting. Yeah, you can adjust your, tone in that conversation. Voice AI can, talk really fast, really brisk, or not. So you can adjust this from here as well. Okay, so now for that, let's say we keep it brisk, for example, and just change the time again because you never confirmed it before. Now you confirm it, so it saves. All right. Okay, moving to agent goals. So now this basically, when a new user is going to come to agent goals, he or she is going to see basic mode, but this is an advanced mode. So what the basic mode is will be completely basic. The references, the queries, the question and answers, that's all. But over here in the advanced mode, you can actually, put up your own prompt up to 2000 words. 2000 words means you can put up your FAQs, you can put up your question and answers, like let's say eligibility questions. You can put up your hiring or firing, or getting in potential client questions over here. You can play around with the prompt, but there are certain rules and regulations that we can discuss further in the call. So first, we're going to explain how the call transfer, trigger a flow, update contact field, and send an SMS is going to work. So can you go to the call transfer part? So this is basically where a customer, let's say, for example, says, there are some examples on the call over here, on the screen as well. Let's say if the customer says that I want to talk to a manager, right? So now we have an option when this particular terminology is going to be set. I want to talk to your manager. This particular thing is going to trigger and is going to transfer the call and say, okay, just give me a minute. Let me connect you with our manager. All right. So this is how we're going to do action name. We can put the action name, let's say manager. We can, phone number. Who's gonna give up their phone number away?
Well, our manager is Orange, so it's only accurate if his number is going in and Cohen would remember his number, right?
I agree.
Yes. Let me get that for you.
Or we can put in Mr. Jeff's as well. The super manager.
Let's see.
If Mr. Jeff receives this call out of nowhere, and you will be surprised that, oh, who's calling me?
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Moving forward, then when should the call transfer take place? Now, there's an example already, highlighted over here. If the user wants to talk to the manager of the business or the business owner, so you can just put that up, or whatever you wish to, the the call transfer ticket should be. For example, it can be anything other than that. Let's say, for example, I want to talk to a representative. I want to talk to a person in charge. You can put as much as possible in the limits of 500 words that you want to say that this should be the wording trigger that trigger this particular call transfer. So over here, just right there, if the user wants to talk to the manager of the business. So whenever a person, a caller, or a customer is going to say, connect me with the manager or the owner of the business, particularly the manager, this will trigger, and the call transfer will happen. What to say before transferring the call? You can make it humanized, or you can just go with the robotic version. Please wait while you transfer the call to the manager, or you can say, hang on for a moment, I'm getting my manager. You can just write it down there. Hang on for a moment, I'm getting my manager on call, or I'm transferring this call to my manager, whatever suits you best.
Okay.
And then you save it. Now your first call transfer is set. So whenever a customer, a client, or let's say the caller, or in this case, a user says that connect me with the manager, this call transfer will start and the manager number will gonna be ringed. Trigger a workflow. Now, Mustafa, I would love that you tell something about a workflow first, then I will tell you about it.
All right. So when we're working with workflows, we have a plethora of different actions that we can do. So for example, send an email, send a text, send a voicemail. We can add opportunities. We can send documents and contracts. We can send invoices as well. So for example, if you're using the voice AI agent for a lead confirmation basis, let's say, and the person on the call says, yep, I'll be happy to look over the services, you can send them an email which contains either a brochure of your e-brochure, a digital brochure of your services that you're providing, or you can send them out an estimate or of an invoice, or you can send them out a document or a contract. So it could be something like, whenever someone mentions that they want to learn more about you, you send them an email with the link of your website and with the document attached, things like that. Yeah, so the options again depends on business to business, but yeah, there is a plenty of different options that we can play around with. Because when we're triggering a workflow, we are doing it for either of the two cases. One, for internal system management, in the way that if someone mentions that, yeah, I'm looking to get hired, you can tag it so that it saves in the system as an applicant. And if it's something that needs to be done in an external manner, for example, you want to reach out to the person who called voice AI, what you can do is you can utilize it to send out an outbound channel through email or SMS or something like that. Maybe set up send them a calendar invite or something like that. So yeah, you have plenty of different things that you can play with. For here, we can say action name would be send in.
No, I would suggest let's keep the action name hot leads.
Absolutely.
Hot lead, okay, or warm lead. We can say that. Okay. Then what will happen next is you have to select a published workflow to trigger. I don't think so. We have a published workflow ready for this particular trigger.
Or what we can do is, if you scroll up, Cohen, we can assign it to you and add to your power dialer.
Yeah,
that would be perfect.
Right now, example, user agrees to pay for the subscription, or let's say user agrees for your services.
Perfect.
What to say when the workflow is being triggered?
You can say something like, our representative, Cohen, will be reaching out to you shortly or soon to discuss more on this topic.
Okay. To talk about this topic.
Perfect.
Just save it. So now your workflow trigger is ready. So whenever a potential customer agrees upon using your services or wanting your services, the workflow will trigger. Cohen will get a manual data. Will get a notification basically that you have to call this person, get in touch with him because he's ready for their service. Next is update contact fields. All right, so we have already made a few of them, just the 3 of them for the exemplary purposes. The first one is extract email. So our action name is extract email. Which contact field to be updated? Email. If you go in that particular field, you can see that there is not only email, there are multiple things that you can set up over here. So whatever custom fields that you have made, you can set it up from here, be it business name, be it address, be it his full name, his or her full name, anything. You can extract that from the call and either update it or make a separate contact out of it. So you can do both. If the contact already exists in your contact list, then you can also overwrite the existing contact field, but you can turn off that option as well. So what to update in this field? Email address of the user provided on the call. All right, so like how is going to identify that? The voice AI agent is going to ask for the email address. Where can I reach you? Do you have an email address? The caller, the user, or the customer, says it out loud, is going to repeat it, is going to confirm it, and then is going to extract that particular email and add it in the contact field. So we have some of the examples over here. You have to add a minimum of 1 example, but you can add as much as you want. So this is pretty much. Then the next thing is extract name. So same over here, when the caller, you can go to the next field, Cohen, that is extract name. Same again, name of the user provided in the call, first name. You can, define it this way that let's say, for example, there is a first name and a last name option. You are not going for the full name option. So first of all, it's going to take the first name. What's your first name? Let's say it's Mustafa, Mustafa, is going to update the first name field in your contact list. And then if you make another one, if you can go to the new field, we can just make another one for an example, action name, let's say extract last name. All right, so which contact should be updated? Last name. Yes. Name of the call. Yeah, last name of the caller. Do you want to overwrite existing contact field or you want to make it a separate? It's up to you. Over here, I would choose to overwrite existing field if it already exists. Now, for example, you add an example. Let's put Shahid, SH. My last name is Shahid. You can just put the whole entire wording, last name, Shahid.
Oh, okay. So just put Shahid?
Yeah, you can say just last name. My last name is Shahid. You can say it like that.
Okay.
All right. So now when you're going to go, we need only 1 example. So you're going to save it. It's going to save as, if I'm not wrong, it's going to be saved as last name. Yeah, extract list. Right? So this is now send SMS. Basically over here, it's kind of like during the interaction with the voice AI agent, when let's say, let's keep this name as send email, email address. Now, just write your email address over here.
Okay.
Yeah. When should the SMS delivery take place? When the caller asks for an email address. You can write it over there. When the caller asks for the email address. Example, or sorry, what to say before? Yeah, you can say that please wait while we send you via SMS. Save that. Now what's going to happen over here? 2 things are going to happen. When, let's say, for example, you're on a call and the customer or the caller says that where can I reach? The voice AI agent is going to say, you can reach me on my email address. So what's your email address? Now he's asking for the email address. So what the voice AI is going to do, wait, let me send you an SMS. Let me send my email, our email address via an SMS. And when the SMS is going to be sent, the voice AI agent is going to ask for it. Have you received the SMS? If the caller says, no, I haven't received the SMS, would you like me to send it again to you? The caller is going to say, yeah, sure, send it. For example, yeah, sure, send it to me again. It's going to send it again. But this is just an example. We can add the email address in the prompt as well. So the caller doesn't have to get an SMS. This is just an example of what we can send and how we can send through SMS. Now, coming to the prompt. Now this prompt is, I've made this a little bit, I can say it's detailed version of it because I've created the persona of Shah, of Owen now, of this particular voice agent. I've created the personality. I've created how it's going to speak, what's the phrases it's going to use. So if you're going to read the prompt, you're going to find out you are, in my case, Shah, a calm, reassuring, and slightly witty customer support specialist at, in my case, Nomads. Your mission is to gather caller contact information and, when applicable, use tools to immediately resolve specific queries. For example, the tools that we are talking about are the 4 tools that are given below. Either you trigger a workflow, or you transfer a call, or you extract a field, or you send an SMS. Primary goal, you're going to set their goals in this, collecting the following 4 contact details: name, email address, their resident address or whatever, issue or query. If basically it already knows, let's say in the beginning of the call, the person tells this query, oh, I'm having a problem with something so and so. It's not going to ask that question because it already know what the query is. For example, moving forward, if caller's contact is already in the system. Now, this case I've tested prior to this call. Now, if you ask for it, let's say if a caller says that, do you have my contact details in your system? It's going to take a pause. It's going to ask 2 questions. What's your name and your email address? So I can check that, are you existing in my system, in my contact list? So if you're already existing, it can figure out your name, email address, phone, and full address, and is going to read out loud over there. There's an example phrasing. Cohen, if you can focus on the example phrasing.
Yes.
Yeah, looks like I've already got your info here. Just to confirm your name, your contact name, your email address is your contact email, and your address is contact full address, right? It's going to confirm it. If the caller confirms, skip data collection and proceed to step 4. If any detail is incorrect or incomplete, politely reconfirm just that part, nothing else, because already other things are confirmed. If the contact is not in the system or the caller declines to confirm, proceed with manual collection as normal. Now these are the outlines, or we can say rules and regulation for the voice AI agent. Moving down, we can see the personality. In the prompt section, you can select what your personality of the voice AI agent should be. Now you can, deal with multiple things. You can say it should be, let's say, it should not be, it should be not reassuring. It should be conventional. It should be, formal. You can choose it according to your, persona of your business. So in my case, I did it calm and reassuring. Its style should be slightly casual, polite. Energy should be young, helpful, trustworthy, friendly. Humor should be light and moment-based, never forced. So I told the voice AI agent what your personality is going to be. If you want to remove that Shah's personality over there, Cohen, you can add your voice AI agent name as well. Phrases, you can add the phrases of the conversation. Alrighty, cool, no worries, whatever suits your business persona. So if you're going for a formal approach, you can use formal phrases. But if you're going for, a casual approach, a little bit toned down approach, you can go with the toned down approach, a casual approach. That would, in my case, I really like the, toned down casual approach much better than the formal, because formal sounds like a little bit more robotic than the casual humanized version out of it. Alrighty, cool, no worries at all, you got it. And if in case of frustration happens in the call, oof, that sounds annoying, let's fix that right away, and then moving forward with the query. And if there's a mistrust going on in the call, you bring a little bit a joke section out of it. For example, I'm not comfortable sharing you my name, or I'm not comfortable sharing you my number. I promise I'm not asking for your Netflix password. So it's kind of sarcastic, jokey kind of personality. And then, at the ending of the call, you're doing awesome. Have an amazing day. You've earned it. You can edit this as much as possible according to your persona. The rules of your voice agent, rules of, in your case, Cohen, my case, Shah. If Cohen can't answer, so that's great question. I'll make sure someone from our team get back with you with the detail. Then return to the collecting info. If if no tool is available, Shah might lightly acknowledge with something like, that's outside my lane. It can save and redirect it to the info collection. Personality guidelines, slang and humor, lightly used only in appropriate moments. You're giving it more rules and regulation that it doesn't go irrelevant, unnecessary conversation. And so on and so forth. Closing behavior, if another query, stay and assist. If small talk, respond once and then end the call politely. That is a very necessary thing because we have 15 minutes of time. If there's small talk going on, and there, I think Mustafa shared with me is that someone from some AI call started doing small talk in this manner. So there is a way we can stop that as well, because we have a very limited time. So we can, do respond once and then end the call politely, saying that, okay, the ending thing, you have a good day, you deserve that. Then comes the inbound call script, right? So the inbound call script is pretty much simple. You tell what and what not to say in the call and what questions you're going to ask. So this is what I made over here. Request caller's name. Hey there, thanks for calling Nomads. I've got you covered. Can I grab your name real quick? Then confirm. Now this is how you're going to set up your prompt detailedly. Then confirm just to make sure I've got it right. Your name is, spell each letter individually, and so goes for the email, so goes for the address, so goes for the query that he says. Let's say, for example, he says, my issue is, I'm not getting right digital marketing. So it's going to understand the query already, and what I can help you with today, what's going on. If the tool matches, use the tool immediately. If not, got it. Thank you for sharing that. A team member will definitely reach you out with more info shortly. So this is like the call conclusion will be very simple. In the end of the call, that's everything from me. Thanks again for calling Nomads. Have an amazing day. Hoover. So now your prompt that I've created, it has a personality, it has a limitation, it has a humor, everything that everything that I can make it as much as humanized, I did it. But you can do it differently. You can bring up other things than, let's say you want a formal approach towards it. Yeah, you can go for the formal approach as well. All right. So moving towards.
Let me just stop you right there. I wanted to understand if you explained everything that we need to, or not we need to, or we can mention within the prompt, the personality, the way it communicates, the limitation it has. Is there something that we cannot provide to the prompt, or if it's something that we need to understand that personally, this is what, even if you type it out or even if you mention it, the bot will not be able to do it? So something like that. So just so we have some limitations or some boundaries of what to play around with and not to go overboard.
Yeah, I mean, the bot cannot call back for once. For example, it cannot call back. It cannot say that, okay, I'll call you back in a while. Or let's say, for example, the caller called, and he or she was busy, and he says, oh, can you call me back in 2 minutes? No, that's a limitation. It can't. There are some limitations of the AI bot due to outbound calling that's prohibited in US for AI only. But yeah, there are some limitations. And the other thing I want to mention that you have a very small amount of time, that is 15 minutes. So if you're going to bring more things in the AI prompt, obviously you can handle it. But when the 15-minute deadline reaches, it's going to be a cold hang up. And personally, I think that a cold hanger is not, suitable for a formal business.
Absolutely.
It's a very bad reputation. So you should keep it a little bit short. You can add few of the questions, not all of them. Don't add all of the questions, because if you're adding all of the questions, you're letting your prompt go more than 15 minutes. If the customer, for example, if a person like me goes on a call with an AI agent, I'm going to take as much as time I want, because I'm going to ask each and everything. I know it's an AI agent, it can answer anything. So if I'm going above my 15-minute time, I'm going to go for a hang up. It's not going to look good.
So can we set up something like the bot knows how much time is left?
No.
Uh,
That's the problem. We can't set it up like that. But what we can do is, we can limit its answers to a certain extent. Where the queries do not match its answer, it can say that I will get you in touch with someone, a representative or a specialist.
all right. So one more thing, like when we're using conversation AI, even though it's text-based, it's not voice AI, it's not entirely real time, even though it replies back to the customers in a couple of seconds or maybe in a minute at max. Voice AI is something that has to respond if like in real time directly. So the reason I mentioned conversation AI is when we are working with conversation AI, we can give it all sorts of information and URLs and everything. But when we're using this AI, we can't exactly give it a plethora or let's say an encyclopedia of information.
Yeah.
Right. And it cannot even check the information from Google or from another AI agent online to check or verify its information. So everything that's within the bots in front of us, that is his database, right?
Yeah, you're coding. You're basically, if I say that you're coding the information for the AI, that would be correct.
Okay. So, and is there a way that if let's say we launch an AI bot and it handles 100 calls, and the 101th call which it will handle will be trained based on the previous 100 calls it made?
Yes, I have set that up as well, in which in this particular prompt only, that there is no limitation. There, in some sections of the call, the voice AI can take over. For example, sentiments. It can understand sentiments if the person is frustrated or not. So you can also set it up according to that need. That you can train yourself into this, and during the call. It's not going to be like, based on the history of the calls. It's going to be during the call. So you can train yourself during the call, and you can answer according to that.
So I'm just thinking that if in the future such an update comes up, in which if that particular contact who is calling the AI already exists within the system and has a call history or has a communication history, it can assess all of that and then utilize it that like, hey Shah, you've been talking, and the AI bot is conversing with you, and it says something like, we noticed that you called us like 3 days ago regarding this. Is this the reason why you're following up today, or something like that? That is something like.
Currently, it's only happening for conversation AI. It's not happening for voice AI. But let's hope for the best in the future. If this happens, then this is the perfect update. That could be the perfect update. But currently, it's happening for conversation AI, where conversation AI can read the messages and go through the history and say, you've been reaching out to us. What happened? What's going on? Follow up and all the other things. You can do that in conversation AI, but not in voice AI. Voice AI, you have some sort of limitations because of its early stages right now, and some of the limitation provided by the laws. Obviously, that you cannot, sell anything on the call. That's a big thing, because there are some of the solicitors that are using this in the wrong way. So that's why the outbound call is prohibited. So can you go up, Cohen? Now there is phone and availability. Now this basically is your basic plan, your time, your availability, when will you be working, when will you be not. And if you are setting up your work hours for voice AI, then outside the scope of your work hours, there will be no voice AI for inbound calls. So what you can do is you can automate a voicemail as well, that it goes in the voicemail section. That's a totally different thing. But what I prefer, that if you're on a customer service representation part, then you go for 24/7. And I gave an example to Cohen and Mustafa that, for example, let's say we set this up for a staffing company, and late night, let's say 3 a.m. or 2 a.m., person calls that I'm having a gas leak. Now, rather than that call goes in the the voicemail section, the voice AI picks up the call. That is a 70% assurance of a lead getting closed, because that person now knows that someone is looking into my problem. So if the call is getting picked up, there are more chances that you can close the lead rather than you just send it in the voicemail section. So you can set it up for 24/7, but if your company policies or your business policy doesn't allow it, then that's a totally different topic. You can set it up for your working hour times as well. So if you scroll down, you can see there that there are multiple. You can set your time deadline according to your business hours, and if you scroll up, you have to get a number. If you scroll up, this is where your number is going to be set down. This is where your designated voice AI agent number is going to be there. So whenever this number receives a call, is going to be received through a voice AI agent, until and unless you turn this off. Now, if you don't have a number, you can buy a new number. That's according to you, Mustafa. If you want to tell something about buying a new number, you can.
No, I'm just thinking. I'm thinking, what if? And now let's look at the pros and cons. All right. So if I'm a business owner and I have to purchase a new number, I have to pay somewhere around $1 to $2 per month for the virtual number that I got. Now, if I have, let's say, 10, 20 numbers, I'm a huge expandist and I want to get as many numbers as I can, and I want to set up this huge AI voice AI prompt or huge voice AI system in which I have one number for each language, and then I have this one number for each service, and one number for this, and one number for that, one number that's happening in the daytime, one number that's happening in the nighttime, and so on and so forth.
You don't need a number for the daytime and the nighttime.
Yeah, I understand. We can just play around with the timings, but what I'm trying to say is, if I have so many numbers, the only cost that's coming to me is the actual payment for the numbers per month, because the voice AI, whether 1 or 20, will charge the same amount at the end of the day. So what I'm thinking is, what is your take on this? That should a business look forward to getting as many voice AI agents as possible, or should it try to focus on one and utilize voice AI in the general inquiry support position?
I would say that if it's working out for them. For example, if a business is getting huge feedbacks, good feedbacks, positive feedbacks on the voice AI agent, there's no harm for setting up for another language. But day and night, it can be handled with one voice AI. All right. So for example, if there are multiple lingual part over there, so any voice AI can handle day and night. It's 24/7. So you can set up your voice AI for 24/7. So it is possible for it. But let's say, for example, different kind of problems, not problems. Let's say for different kind of things. As for a staffing company, let's say if that particular voice AI is acting as an employer or acting as a business. For example, if it's taking a potential customer call, or it's taking let's say, a employee HR call. So yeah, you can do it. You can, change the tones of it. You can, totally divert it. Let's say, for example, one call, the call happens. Are you looking, the IVR system heads up press 1 to get services, press 2 for HR. So if you're pressing 1, you go in the services section where you're going to be asked completely different question, and press 2 for the HR section where you're going to be asked completely different questions. You can put it up in one prompt, but my suggestion would be that don't complicate your prompt as much as possible. Just simplify it as much as possible so you can get better interaction.
All right, because every time we discuss AI, the one, I wouldn't say problem, but the one issue or the one hurdle, obstacle that businesses face is the same old concept that we've been hearing for the last 5-10 years. Will AI replace humans?
It will. It will. I have a case study of a friend of mine that was working for a call center, and it was an inbound call center where it was customer service, customer care, something like that. So he was working. The woman name was Jennifer. So she asked him that, can you make a voice agent that will take care of my inbound customer service? And he did. He did made it. And it was so efficient and it was so effective that it was ready to, change her entire system from 12 manual dialers, 12 manual labor to 0. But she wasn't ready for that change because of her morals and ethics. She wasn't ready to do that. But it has the capability to, replace a human. Yes, it does indeed.
So again, it depends upon the individual's own code of conduct on his life. But does the AI has the potential or the capabilities? Yes, it does.
It does. It does. I for sure think that in the future, I don't think so there will be a manual person taking calls as an inbound, or let's say in the future outbound as well. Because there are some projects that are working to bring your voice. Let's say, for example, Mustafa, your voice, your lingual, your tone, your conversational aspects into voice AI.
Only. Then let's
Mustafa
put one.
Shahid, if Mustafa Shahid is getting called, so Mustafa Shahid is actually picking up. That is so 100% accurate that the other person cannot differentiate between a real human Mustafa Shahid and the voice AI Mustafa Shahid.
Because then that brings up another question, because we do have the time. Let's just think about one thing. If the outbound AI is also, let's say, approved within the US laws, or someone finds a way to work around that, what would happen if the
limitations?
AI...
There will be, even if it gets approved, what I've been reading, it will still have limitations.
Yeah, but I'm thinking about the fact, what if an outbound AI calls an inbound AI?
It's like Pizza Hut calling Domino's.
Absolutely. That would be a fun conversation to overhear.
Yeah, it's just like Pizza Hut calling Domino's. What's going on? All right. Shall we move forward, Mustafa? Any other questions? Go to dashboard and logs, go in. And Mustafa, I would like you to talk about a little bit about the dashboard and logs. How can we, utilize this?
Okay, so within the system of OPM tools, we have this dashboard and logs that shows you a complete analytics of your voice AI, performance. You see the total number of calls, the amount of actions triggered on those number of calls, and the most important part, the sentiment. Even the sentiment provides that what was the type of call that was being handled by the voice AI agents. Was it a positive call? Was it a negative call? By negative, I mean, was the caller getting angry or frustrated or agitated during the call, or was that person talking to the AI as if as he believes that he's talking to a normal human, or if he knows that he's talking to an AI, he's still taking the call on a positive note. So the sentiment will give you that understanding that whether or not should you change your prompt, number one. Number two, if the number of calls is high and the number of actions triggered is low, that is again when you need to go into the system and check based on the summaries you have and the transcript or the call recordings that you have to see if the call number is high, why is the actions triggered is low? Was the AI unable to understand what the other person was saying, or was the other person saying something in a different phrase that the AI was not able to grasp? So something like that. So this analytics provide you that understanding that is my voice AI ready for mass what should I say, mass handling of calls, or do you need to further prompt it out? Now, if you see the graph, it's just a visual representation. Then you have the total duration of number of minutes. Total duration can help you with 2 to 3 different ways. Number one, it could give you an understanding of what the usage cost is going to be, because there is a usage cost whenever you have these inbound or outbound call channels, be it manually, be it through AI, be it SMS or emails. There always is a system cost associated. And the average call duration will give you that understanding of how much time was each AI bot or that one call was being taken for. And the other part of the total duration that you can understand is, if the total duration is going high, how much are you spending and how much are you actually gaining from it? And the third thing is, if the total duration of the calls is going higher, let's say 2000 minutes or 3000 or 6000 minutes, that is the time when you can consider, do I really need to have a human employee? Do you want to, like, apart from ethics and morals, it's simply logical reasoning of Spock from Star Trek. Yep, I got that right. If I had said Star Wars, I would have been in some trouble. Anyway, so from Star Trek, you have Spock, who would think logically, rationally, if the duration is going high, if the number of calls is going high, if the actions triggered is going high, the sentiment is positive, do I still need the actual people sitting on the desk handling the phone calls or not?
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. You need that.
And then if you scroll, if you scroll down, Cohen. Yes, over here you can see the entire summary of how many people, not how many, which person has called from which number, and what was the date and time and the duration of the call and the actions that were triggered. And the most important part, now, if you are someone that wants to take more active role in the development of your voice AI, you can actually read the summaries or read the transcript or listen to the voice recording. And to the right side of that, where it says a thumbs up or a thumbs down, you can click thumbs up or thumbs down to give the voice AI a feedback from your end based on how the call was handled. If you think the call was handled beautifully, give it a thumbs up. If it wasn't, give it a thumbs down. So, Cohen, can you give one of them a thumbs down? And this is what happens. Now you can provide a feedback. So this feedback is something that you can keep providing to improve your AI. The agent didn't pick up the call.
I would add one thing over here. I would suggest that this feedback, you should put, like, for example, the customer feedback. Right? That would be,
this feedback
based on customer feedback.
So what, you want us to call the person?
No.
And
I'll explain that further in the presentation, that how you're going to take the customer feedback.
Okay. Well, then let's look forward to that happening, because what my understanding is, if you provide feedback to your your AI agent right now based on these, it will be able to reinforce to act according to the rules that you have set. So yeah, that would be it. Should we move on to the presentation?
Yeah, we should move on. Our first stage is plan and prepare. So basically, what we are doing in planning and preparing is that we are defining our business goals for our voice AI. We are identifying key uses. That is, like, for example, what are the uses of this particular voice agent? Is it for customer support? Is it for FAQ, appointment scheduling? Whatever you think it is for, if for your business, you can define it, you can identify it, and you can tell the voice AI agent in that prompt that this is what we want. This is what you should be. This is what you're supposed to be. I've made another prompt for customer support as well, and I'll be sharing it with Mustafa and the team. Moving, and then one more thing that you can also do this, that you can ensure your voice AI agent complies with the data privacy and security regulations. For example, if someone calls and say, hey, where my information is going, you can tell it, you can add a prompt where you can tell that, yeah, your data privacy is secured according to, let's say, HIPAA. Or if you're working in different region, you can set their regulations as well. The second part is execute and iterate. Configure voice AI settings. Let's say in OPM tool, we already did that. Create structured AI prompts for interaction. I already explained that how you're going to create that prompt. You can give them let's say personality, you can give them limitations, you can give them rules and regulations, and each and everything that you want your prompt to do, act with, you can give it in the prompt. Test voice AI responses and adjust script accordingly. So now this is the part where you can, there's an option there where you can, actually test it during when you make it. So when you're going to test it, you're going to put up your number in that particular section and you get 10 minutes of free time. You don't have to pay for that. It's free, completely free of cost in the test section where it's going to act like that you called him, you called the voice AI agent while it's going to be calling your personal number. The other thing, if you want more than 10 minutes, you can make your voice AI agent live and you can call as much as you want from that number, on that number. Okay, moving forward is that optimize AI for better user experience. So like how you're going to optimize it? You're going to optimize it based upon, let's say feedbacks. You're going to optimize it based upon, the summary of it. You're going to optimize it based upon the user experience that if it's for personal. Okay, stage 3 is review, present, and refine. Analyze customer interaction. Now that is where I was saying, Mustafa, that's where feedback comes in. Analyze customer interaction, gather feedback, and adjust AI script. So how are you going to doing that? It's quite simple. Check how AI is responding to customer queries, identify common questions and concerns. If you're identifying that, let's say, for example, there's a common question of when are you guys open? And you haven't added up in your prompt. And the voice AI is saying, okay, we're going to get someone on the call to answer that question. You can actually add that question or that FAQ in that prompt that, okay, we are open since this time to this time from Monday to Friday. So if there are common questions coming up again and again in the summary, you can add that into the prompt so that the voice agent shouldn't transfer as many calls as possible. And moving that, you gather feedback. How are you going to gather feedback? If you first of all, you review the call logs. You transcribe it. If you see for misunderstanding or repetitive issues, if, for example, the voice AI or the customers are asking for frequent human agents, they're saying, I don't want to talk to you. Just get me a human agent. And they're identifying the fact that it's not a human agent, it's just a voice AI, then you should probably check your prompt that where the problem is arising. And if there is a problem arising, you have to fix it. For example, if that caller called and the voice agent said, "Can I have your email?" and it's asking for multiple times. It's not stopping. It's saying again and again, I just need your email to move on with further things. How about your email? 3 to 4 times it said. You didn't set a limitation on the email section. And that's where the issue creates, where the caller gets frustrated and say, I just want to talk to a person who can actually understand what I'm saying. You're just a robot. So you have to tell the limitations. You have to stop them at some point. Let's say, for example, in my case, I set it up for not more than twice. You can only ask for a certain information twice in a very, polite manner. And then if the person is not comfortable telling you that, just move on. Just don't ask again anywhere in the call. Okay, moving forward, ensure AI enhances engagement and meet customer needs. That is for your customer base only. For example, it differs from business to business. If your customer is, for example, let's say, if you guys are in the service industry, home services, and if your customer is asking for query again and again, for example, they are asking for an interior designer, you have to customize your voice AI agent according to that, so it can answer basic interior designing questions. For example, how my house is going to look like. Okay, your house is we're going to change a little bit. We're going to get a design ready for you up to your desired wants, needs, and something like that. You can play around with the prompt over here. Present result and implement refinements. Then when you're ready, again, just present it once more. And don't only present it, just check it. Don't only add one, just don't keep one prompt, keep 3 to 4 prompts with you and change it in weekly basis. Let's say we have one prompt which is casual and friendly, the other prompt which is formal and polite. Just play around with it. Just see the A/B testing part, that if my one prompt is working good or the other one is working good, how the customer is feeling about it, how the calls feedbacks are coming back again and again. If are they good? And one more thing, to gather feedback, you can go to your customers as well. After the call ends, there is a system, and if I'm not wrong, it can be done with the IVR as well, where you can say, just give a feedback after the call, or you can add an automation where you can, send that person a message or an email that please give an feedback about the call that you just. You can do that if the person provides you with the email address or the phone number. Okay, Mustafa, moving forward, let's go to the use cases. Okay, so this is like maximizing voice AI potential. How are we going to maximize that? We're going to diversify that, explore various possibilities. How are we going to do that? We're going to find out what other niches that it can take over in our business only. Let's say, for example, in my case, customer service automation. I did that, like my customer service automation 24/7 is dealt by voice AI. Why? Because I don't want my hangups there. I don't, even if it's 3 a.m. in the morning and my, let's say, my web development client is having troubles with the website, I want someone to answer it. I want someone to assure him that someone will get back to you as soon as possible. Next is lead engagement and nurturing. Now, this is done with the help of conversation AI. You can utilize more than one option in the AI section. If it's voice AI, you can use voice AI. But if it's let's say conversation AI, Mustafa, I would love you to tell a very small thing about conversation AI in this, so we can understand how lead engagement and nurturing can be done via conversation AI. The follow-ups, the talking front and back after the call, this can be done via conversation. What do you think, Mustafa? I think he's busy. No, he's
No,
not.
sorry, I was drinking something.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Okay, can you repeat that, what you just said?
I said that lead engagement and nurturing in let's say diversity, explore various possibilities. I said that it can be dealt with conversation AI and voice AI. For example, voice AI takes in a call and it's a form lead. Then the conversation AI can take over after the call ends.
When we talk about voice AI, we have this one option in which we can send out an SMS to the person who called. Now, when the person receives the SMS, he can reply back, and that would initiate the conversation AI. That's how the technical aspect of this will work. Now, what is a use case for that would be if a person is calling to get hired or is applying for a job, it's a career page or something like that, and the voice AI has filtered it out in a way that, okay, you are completely fit, you are eligible. Why don't I just send you the SMS and you can reply back and forth on that, and based on the conversation, we'll be giving you an appointment duration or appointment time or something like that. Now, once it sends out the SMS and the person replies back, the conversation AI takes over. And the way you can set up conversation AI is you can provide it qualification questions. And the way it would work is you have given a task to the conversation AI that you need to ask these 4 or 3 or 5 questions one by one. And based on each answer, if the answer is an acceptable answer, only then move to the next question. Otherwise, you can set it out to be, hey, I'm really sorry that we are looking for the people who are situated or who have a residence within the state of Florida. We are not looking for someone outside of that. So we have taken up your data and we shall reach out to you when we have an opportunity for your location. But for right now, we can't entertain you. Something like that. But if a person says, okay, I live in Florida, then the next question would be, do you have a car, or would you be able to come into the office at the accurate times and something like that. If a person says, no, I have a disability, or if a person says, no, I have some trouble finding a car, or I'm too far away, it can handle it. So based on the use case or whatever your specific criteria is in that particular example, the example which I'm saying is a hiring. A person is applying for a job. If, for example, if you take a different understanding, which would be a potential client, I would never suggest to push a voice AI into the conversation AI part, because
I have an example out of it. Do you want me to share it with you?
for a potential client.
Yeah.
Because
So
before you
let's say-
mention that, the only reason I would prefer not to push a potential client from voice AI to conversation AI would be because potential client does not have so much time on their hands that first it's conversing on the phone and next it's conversing on the SMS. So that is my only comment on that. But if you have a better case study, let us know.
I have a small example out of it. Let's say, for example, a person, inquires about a service, of OPM tools. Okay. And the call ends after the query. So the example is, let's say, for example, that person is Mustafa. Hi, Mustafa. I see you inquired about our services. Are you looking for a solution right away or just exploring options? So now this particular example is for instant follow-ups. Why I'm saying instant follow-up is to determine if the lead is interested and ready to buy.
Yeah, you are correct, but the reason I'm saying no for conversation AI is because conversation AI plays on the rules of qualification questions. However, what you can do is, if you disregard a conversation AI, you can utilize that same method for emails and then use trigger links and then play with that. So conversation AI is something that will play with the amount of information it's receiving. It wouldn't be a yes and no. Exactly, it would be something more in depth. So for example, if you do you have the current certifications, or can you tell me about your certifications? The person tells something like, I got certified in 2024 and this and that, and the AI automatically understands that if a person got certified in June 2024, he does not even have 1 year of experience. So based on that sort of critical thinking analysis, the conversation AI would be able to take a decision. Apart from that, yeah, we can send out emails, we can send out SMS, we can even transfer to a different person to handle the call. So all of those things can happen. Again, the only thing that we would say at the beginning of this presentation and at the end of the presentation is it depends from business to business, from perspective to perspective. No two business of the same niche servicing in the same area would have the same mindset.
I completely agree with that.
So it all depends on that. But yes, you do have the functionalities, you do have the opportunity to utilize conversation AI or to utilize different aspects of the OPM tool software in order to fine tune your nurturing process and fine tune your lead warming up process, basically.
Moving forward in the diversity section, yes, Mustafa, as well as the conversation AI, voice AI can also do the interactive FAQs and support. Yes, they can handle that. Voice AI agents can handle FAQs very easily if we provide those FAQs within the prompt. So it should be set up. It wouldn't be a learning phase for it. It should be a setup thing that, for example, my company has 10, 15 FAQs that are ready for, plug and play kind of thing. So yeah, it can just go for it, and it can be on the basis of eligibility as well. Fair enough. Moving forward is the second part, and that is the innovation, unleash creativity and innovation. AI-driven appointment settings, we can do that. Personalized voice responses. Personalized voice responses means that, let's say, for example, I want my voice agent to be, personalized to a certain customer base. So we can add custom fields in that. Okay, for example, let's say Mustafa, prior to a call, Mustafa was a very aggressive person. Let's say he was not polite. So what the AI agent is going to do is he's going to talk to him very politely and assure him in the next call. He's going to assure him that, yeah, your things are going to be handled very peacefully, because voice AI can store the information and the action, the sentiments of a person. Moving forward, Mustafa, let's go to the next slide. Voice commands, maximizing AI efficiency. All right. So how are we going to maximize AI efficiency? We can maximize them by, like, for example, empower the voice interactions. For example, how can I help you today? Would you like to book an appointment? I can answer any questions you have if you have provided the complete list of FAQs that a company requires, that particular company requires. So you can do this in the AI integration, enabling seamless communication. Connect voice AI with OPM tools for CRM, for lead tracking. Use AI to enhance SMS and chat automation. And yes, one more thing is that you can use your voice AI for interview or hiring processes as well. And you can, I think you can get prior call recording from OPM tools as well. Is that correct, Mustafa?
Absolutely.
That will be a very good case study for your understanding. So how to set up the voice AI for your business. That will be really helpful for particularly your understanding, so you can understand what is going on in different niches of the business. And I think you would be omitting the business name while providing that, if I'm not wrong. Moving forward. Yes. Interaction, design, creating seamless voice AI experience. What does it mean? It means keep prompts clear and conversational. Provide your prompts with fallback options for complex queries. Ensure that your AI sounds natural and engaging, and personalize interaction with customer data. That's important. Customize your interaction with your customer data is totally depend upon your research upon your customers. If that customer is calling you multiple times, you know what he's inquiring for. And if you're providing your voice AI agent with that particular answers, it's gonna answer that question very respectfully. Moving forward, data privacy, ensuring security and voice AI system. Mustafa, when you go in the next lead. Data privacy, ensuring security in voice AI system. Okay, that's basic. Comply with the data protection law. Use encrypted storage for AI conversations. Your systems, where you're securing your data should be encrypted. Inform users about data collection policies. So when a caller calls, I think it's obligatory in some of the states where you have to tell this call is being recorded, or either this call is being documented for training and documentation purposes. Regularly update your security protocols. That's basic. Moving forward, Mustafa, to the analytic, utilizing data for AI optimization. Okay, now over here you have to deep dive into data insight. Monitor your AI calls log for user interactions. How you're going to monitor that? In the summary section, where you're going to go on your voice AI agent tab, and you're going to see there are summaries of each call. So you're going to monitor that. Each summary, you're going to see what's going on in the call. Identify trends in customer engagement. You want to see what are the more frequently asked questions from your customers. Improve AI responses based on analytics. And after all of that, you're going to improve your prompt in your voice AI agent advanced setting, that according to the data that you have collected via summary and the customer interaction. How you're going to be leveraging analytic for performance enhancement. You're going to be tracking AI efficiency and accuracy. You're going to be adjusting your prompt based on customer behavior. If your customers are more likely in, let's say, for example, most annoying business that I see is the service industry, where web development industry, where your customers are always angry. So they are particularly most of the time angry. Why is my website not working? Why is that picture still up there? Why haven't you removed it yet? What's going on with my theme? Why is my website malfunctioning? Why my hosting is not up? Yeah, you can adjust your voice AI so it can deal with those kind of customers, those kind of frustrated customers much better. And yes, in the end, use insight to enhance AI solutions.
But when it comes to that, I think we need to have a defined list, like a script of objection handling, that if this is said, this is how you respond. This is said, this is how you respond. And that means you would know in a manner that your client might say something like, oh, my website is down. What just happened? So
there are some cases. There are some cases in which, for example, if the customer is angry and my website is down, what's going on? And if your voice agent is that good enough, it can reassure your customer to be like, okay, that's not a problem. That's not an issue. We are here to help you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the first representative and I'm going to get them working on this as soon as possible.
Yeah, like a reassurance.
Yeah, that reassurance calms down the client. Okay, now he's been heard. The problem has been heard. Without you getting the scoldings, the voice AI getting the scoldings, the problem has been heard. That's the whole point. You can get away from that.
Absolutely. Moving
Moving
on.
on to the next thing is training skill development for voice AI. There are multiple online courses for voice AI. And yes, I think OPM support team is also there for voice AI thing. They can teach you as much and they can set it up for you as much as possible as you want. So they are there ready to teach you everything. There are development like this skill development hand-on training. I think hopefully for my benefit, Arn would be providing more workshops like these, and we will be training more people on this. Hands-on training would be really good, really helpful for other people. All right, so resources for continuous learning. Yeah, this industry is vast. All right, there are many articles, many industry people who are doing this. You can go check them, see what they are doing, what they are benefiting out of it. I think there are use cases in the OPM tool as well. If I'm not wrong, you can ask Foreign for the call recordings, so they can train their AI system according to that as well. They can learn how and what's going on in the voice AI industry. And yeah, join voice AI communities, and that is Orange community, basically. Moving forward, this is the conclusion. The conclusion would be, let's take a small step back and take a recap of what we've got there. Number one is voice AI enhances efficiency and user engagement. Yes, it does. It does enhances efficiency. It does enhances user engagement, and it can completely remove a human agent. You agree with me, Mustafa?
I do. I do.
It does. It has the potential. It has the power to remove all of human interaction in the future. Not now, but in the future.
I would say even now, because the number of clients of ours who have opted for voice AI and the way they have deployed the voice AI on crucial steps of customer interaction, it shows us that they are not just ready for it, they believe it, that their clients or their potential clients or their audience is completely acceptable towards the voice AI. And if they are, then why wait? Like, why actually wait before deploying it?
I completely agree with that. But there is a factor of moral obligations, Mustafa. There are some people who are morally obliged to give their people a chance in this world. If I'm not wrong, you are forgetting the human factor in the voice AI. That is the human who is setting it up.
Yeah, absolutely. How can we forget that person?
Exactly. Or who's purchasing the services. All right, proper implementation ensures smooth automation. Proper implementation means that you are bringing your prompt in the right direction. You're telling your voice AI agent the do's and do nots of your business. For example, in my case, my motto is you pay for results, not expectations. So I would like my prompt to not give expectations to any of my clients. I would like my prompt, or I would say I would like my voice AI agent to actually assure them of what we can do, not just the expectations part. So this is where your prompt plays in action, a very important and integral part of your voice AI agent, of your voice AI agent personality, persona, each and everything, the way he converses, the way he talks to the customers, each and everything lies in the lines between where you are giving the complete instructions to the voice AI agent. Data insight help refine AI performance. Yes, it does. If you're collecting your data efficiently, if you're going through the summaries, if you're checking it, randomly, your summaries, yes, it will help you. Or in other cases, if you're listening to the calls provided by your service provider, in your case, OPM tools, if you're listening to those, yes, it will help you gather enough insight that you can, actually understand how your voice AI agent is working or not. Continuous training and innovation. Yeah, it's an AI. You have to train it yourself. It cannot train itself because it's not connected to the web. All right, so you have to train it yourself. You have to train it by manual data. You have to train it, according to the summaries that you get, according to transcriptions, and yes, according to the feedback. Feedback is very important in this. And I believe that's a wrap. Anything else, Mustafa, from your side?
No, plus anyone else want to add anything onto it? It was amazing having you here, Shah or Shazar. So yeah, it has been wonderful learning from you, learning from one of the experts in voice AI who understands the in-depth understanding of the different prompts and what the outcome of such prompts are and how to configure around them and how to play around them in order to get the results that the business owner intends to get. And that is something very that we will be, what should I say? We are grateful for your knowledge and we understand that it's not something that you got to learn about easily. But then again, this is the reason we brought you here today and you agreed to come over here today to share that expertise and that knowledge base with not just us, but also our clients as well.
All right, take care. Have fun. Okay, take care. Aaron, Cohen, great to meet you guys. Cohen, this was our first interaction. It was really lovely to meet you guys.
Cater to your needs individually, specifically, and in detailed. So yeah, that's a wrap and see you all next Tuesday.